Starring Drew Harrison and Will Abeles.
Welcome back to another episode of My Funny Friends. I am one of two parts of a perfect person, but I'm one half of a perfect human, and the other half who is the majority of it. Even though I said halves, I meant majority.
It comes down to a percentage thing here, I think.
I just contribute like a small fraction of this. But my lovely co-host, Drew Harrison. Hi, Drew.
Oh, thank you. How are you? How you doing? You're indoors?
I was good up until that intro.
You stroked out there for a second, but that's okay. That's okay.
But I'm
that's
good.
All right.
Check this out. Look at this. I'm in the same location for
I was about
two
to
straight
say,
episodes.
I feel a repeat backdrop, and this is rare.
I haven't left my girlfriend's place yet. Still renting out my apartment illegally.
Hey, make that money, man.
Hey, I'll
hey,
take
the
it.
government makes their money illegally, so why not? You know,
why not us? Yeah, I'm spending it wisely.
Well, good.
As I do.
Booze.
As I do.
Did you go out last night? Is that
no, I did go out last night,
mm-hmm.
and I went to Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge for the first time.
Sounds fancy.
And I saw a band that was from Hagerstown, the Plate Scrapers.
Look at you.
And right when I was kind of like, I don't want to be here anymore, luckily our good friend Evan Burke was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I was like, okay. Oh, perfect. Got my ride home.
You didn't
it was great.
Hit the band with steel chairs and be like, I'm the pride of Hagerstown.
I was kind of like watching them like, you know, I do remember you guys not putting a black square up in 2020. And knowing my hometown, I was like, where are you guys? What part of town are you from?
Okay.
Where are you guys?
Look at you judging this band. You don't know.
Yeah, I had a couple questions. That's where my brain was going. But they're fantastic. They're a lot of fun. And I just shit talked them without even realizing it, but they're not watching, so
that's good. Yeah. Well, I've got some questions for our fantastic guest this week, so let's go ahead and get her here with us. She is an Atlanta-based comic. She is the host of the 1 a.m. Secret Show in Atlanta, which is world renowned. I've always wanted. It's on the goal list to get on the show at some point. But yeah, it's the funny Tamar Rubin.
Hey.
How you doing?
Dude, I'm great. How are you? Good, I also loved the intro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's typical for us. Yeah. We get it.
Whenever
it's a
when
journey.
Drew intros,
we get there.
When Drew intros, smooth sailing. When I intro, you're like, all right, we're gonna have to do that 6 more times.
I really hate radio died. You know, I think I would have been a good like 80s radio disc jockey.
Yeah.
I that was my calling. I was just born too late.
For sure.
Yeah. But radio's dead, so whatever. You know, that's why we do this. Well, yeah. How is the weather in Atlanta today? It's nice and sunny here in Nashville.
Dude, it is fucking. Trees are blowing out there. It is windy as hell.
Forgot the hurricane's heading that way.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I hope not. I don't know how to prepare. I'm from California, so I don't know how to prepare for any.
Oh, so if it starts shaking, you're fine. Yeah.
I'm not gonna look. Yeah, if it starts shaking, I know what to do.
But wind? No, thank you.
Wind? I can't. I wasn't raised with wind.
What is this wind?
What is this?
Well,
I'm a California girl, guys.
Right. We left the coast of North Carolina and escaped hurricanes, and now we're in Tornado Alley here in Tennessee. So it's great.
Oh my God! Welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind it, and where did you start stand-up comedy?
Dope. I did my first open mic ever in Southern California.
Okay.
I did one mic there when I was in college, and that's where I grew up, but I went to college in New York. And I did really well at the mic, and I was like, easy peasy lemon squeeze.
I got it.
I was like, oh, easy. I really am that funny. And my boyfriend at the time made me do it because he was a musician and he did music there. And then he was like, so I wrote a set for it. It went great. And then I went back to school in New York and I did an open mic there, and it was the worst thing ever. And I was like, not only am I not going to do this again, I'm actually going to kill myself. And it was, so then after that, I did not do it. I think I did it like once or twice, like for my college. Like my college wanted like,
oh
yeah, but I wasn't doing it at all. And I was like, I'll do it after college is what I told myself. I was like, I'll really, because I was busy. I was a busy kid in college. And I was like, I'll really throw myself into it.
What college did you go to?
I went to Pace University, Go Setters in Lower Manhattan.
There you go.
Oh yeah. I went to theater school there, so it was a good choice on my part.
That's always a fun transition into comedy. There's so many theater kids that are like, I'll just do stand up.
Yeah. I do think it's helped me a lot.
I can imagine.
And then I was there, and then I graduated during the pandemic from my parents' house. And then I moved to Atlanta on a complete whim. I'd never been here before. I was like, I'll come for 1 month. And then a little after I moved here, I started doing some mics. I did like one open mic, and then I didn't really do anything. And then I started doing it here, kind of got bit by the bug, and that was it. So I've been doing it now. I'm pretty green. I've been doing it now for like a little over like a year.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, it's fun. I wanted to have you on the show because I wanted to get that perspective, like starting in a comedy city that the spotlight's been put on for a little bit, and you started in a weird time. Like it's weird to pick it up now and be like, I'm gonna do this, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very grateful I didn't start. The thought now of like I can't imagine what comics went through during the pandemic of being like, you just can't fucking do this. Like, I'm so grateful I did not have to experience that.
Yeah. I think I was one of the rare people where I was like, a break. Oh, thank God.
I went the opposite route. Like the day I got off the road, I had an Instagram show with like 4 friends from New York, and my family was the audience. And then I couldn't.
Well, I had a stressful day job that the pandemic just multiplied times 20. So I was like, I couldn't even. Like I was a miserable person to be around. Like I'm sure my wife could attest to that. But I couldn't have even imagined trying to be funny during that time. Like even when the outdoor shows opened up and I like go to one here or there, I'd get on stage and be like, that was just anger. That wasn't funny. You needed to get that out, but you didn't twist it to make it funny at all.
I just blacked out up there. I don't remember anything I said.
I just ranted about some stuff. That's all.
That's okay. I came to and there's a hole in the wall. And my fist is bleeding. That's crazy.
Did I do that? Oh, I guess I did. So what was it like when you first started? Which open mic in Atlanta was number one? Was the first one?
I think the first one that came back. So it was the mic it was a new theater at the time. It was called Roll Call Theater. And I think that was the first mic to come back because there was just like a ton of people there. And I remember it was like 2 days after I moved here, and I saw my friend sent me that there was a mic, and I really did it because I was like, it was such a culture shock coming from New York. Because I came from New York where all I did every day was work my restaurant job and then go home and like wore 3 masks. And like I wore 3 masks every day. And then like I was in Georgia for 10 minutes and I was like, I don't even remember how to put this mask on. But where everything was closed, and then to come here and not only was everything like completely open, but I think comedy was still opening up. But I was like, well, I might as well just do this because the world could shut down at any, like I was very much in like scarcity mindset, like anything could just shut down again.
Yeah. Right.
So that was, but I know a lot of, I only know from other comics that like a lot of everything else was still closed for like comedy waiting to open back up. But there was a lot of comics, a lot of excitement. To the mic was, it was a bumping. I didn't know it at the time because I hadn't gone to mics, but looking back, I'm like, yeah, it was a bumping mic. Like a ton of people there. Energy was hot.
Comics were doing it
And
for their mental health at that point, you know?
yeah, it was saving their lives. And then I did that for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I stopped again because I started doing improv, and I was like, this is way more community. It's way more friendly.
What? Come on. What are you talking about? But
everyone was very nice.
Where did you switch to improv in Atlanta? Where were you doing that at?
I started at Roll Call too.
Oh, so they got improv.
Oh, they also do improv. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know if they do it as much now, but they had like house teams and stuff, and everyone in the stand-up scene was very, very nice though. But it's just very different. Like
especially walking into the new territory,
Yeah, but everyone was very friendly. But yeah, I started doing improv for a while, and that was kind of all I did. And then I just eventually went back, and then I completely stopped doing improv. I just did stand-up. I was like, I'm gonna do both.
It's hard to do both. I see that. Like, there's only a few comics I know that still do both.
It is hard to do both because, like, especially if you want to do it every night, it's like, well, I don't want to give up 2 of my nights doing improv.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying, you're still in that mindset of like getting out as much as you can and going to mics and meeting people and establishing yourself in the scene. Like, don't want to disappear for some of those nights.
Yeah, you want to grind. You don't want to yes and,
Wait, so does improv have like improv mics, or is it more just like meeting up and just being like, well, just do this together?
So there actually is like improv jams, which I would
jams.
constitute.
Oh, yeah.
Learn the lingo, Will.
I forgot.
God,
it's been a decade.
You're embarrassing us right now.
Learn my culture, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm so close. I'm so close-minded.
It's so embarrassing.
I promise you we're professionals. I'm sorry.
I'm just upset still. The red wave didn't happen, and
bro, we're in Tennessee. You got to be careful. People might not know you're being
there's no way I don't get shot in Tennessee. I've accepted that.
I'm appreciating some states are becoming more purple. Tennessee's doubling down on the red.
Yeah, and they're even separating Nashville, so we can't even vote the way we want to vote anyway.
Memphis is the only blue dot now.
That's crazy.
Jeez.
Anyway, so improv jams, huh?
Get out and vote. No, it's too late.
Too late.
It's really too late.
You messed up.
Really too late.
Well, Georgia, you guys got the runoff. I guess you got the runoff, so you still have to.
We do.
Whatever that means.
Just praying Herschel Walker doesn't win. That's all.
Yeah. Go off, Herschel. He's so funny. Yeah, no, he's insane. Yeah, there's improv jams. So I was doing that, and then I was on an improv team too. And so I was just doing, so that was like rehearsing once a week and then performing once a week and then going to a jam. So like 3 nights out of my week were improv, which is a lot of, that's most of the nights.
Yeah. And Roll Call is such a cool theater. I assume the outdoor space was running at that time?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because I did a one-off show in their outdoor space, and it didn't go great, but it was like a really, it was like just like it was.
Please
not
elaborate. I see a look on your face. I'm like, please tell the story.
No, for sure. Those were tough. Those outdoor shows.
Yeah, it was. I was so excited. I was like, cool. I'm gonna headline in Atlanta, and I thought I was gonna be inside. Find out I'm outside. I'm like, interesting. All right. Like, because this is like also post-vaccine. So like outdoor shows are dead at this point.
Yeah.
And the indoor show, whatever was happening on the indoor show was packed. And the outdoor show was like 20 people, which isn't bad, but it's just such a big space. And it's like, and I wrote in my notebook, Damon Sumner was also on the show, and he was doing a great job featuring Alex Libby was on it. Everyone was doing a good job. Like they were used to it. They knew what they were walking into, and I just didn't. And I wrote in my notebook before I got on stage. It's the first page of a new notebook. It just said, "Jesus, do I finally quit?" But
that's
the
how a
indoor
lot of
room
those
is
shows
fantastic.
felt to me when things
Yeah.
started opening up. A lot of those shows were, yeah.
But the indoor space is very cool, and I've done a couple shows in there, and that's always been fun.
Yeah, it's a good black box.
And I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Atlanta was a little bit like the comedy scene at least was a little bit slower to get everything kind of back and going. At least for like southern states. I know New York took like a long time to open up and all that, but yeah, because I know Nashville was like open by the time I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I'm not even sure because I wasn't here before, but I would say you're right based off of every other comic being like, anytime now I say something like, oh yeah, I love this show, I love this space, there's always the comic that's like, yo, but pre-COVID, dude, but pre-COVID, this place would be 1,000 people in this tiny little back of the bar. I mean, you could smoke inside. People were smoking fucking crack in here in each other's mouths. It was insane. Like every show.
They have air horns out of nowhere.
Yeah. Apparently every show pre-COVID, like I don't even fucking know, dude. I don't even know how balls to the walls they were. I'm like, I don't know. I think Star Bar's pretty great now. It's like, nah, bitch.
Star Bar is one of those incredible. I've never done Star Bar, and I swear to God, every time I think I'm gonna do it, it closes. And so, and I'm not convinced it's a real place. Like, I think it's like something that Atlanta comics have made up to fuck with road comics, and they just like, oh, dude, Star Bar's fucking sick. And then you get there, and they're like, "Ah, it's so sad it closed down." And you all have a Facebook group that you talk on in private, and you're like, "Will Abeles is coming to town. Let's pretend like Star Bar's closed." And then you all post on Facebook that it's closed.
It's
and then
just
I leave,
a conspiracy.
and you're like, "It's back! It's back!"
No,
dude, even the Atlanta comics I do in New York, though, yeah.
Star Bar's totally real, and if you give me $50, I can go take that to Star Bar, and I can double your money and give you. I can give it that. It's Star Bar's an MLM actually.
Well, see, look at it. This took a quick turn. Look at that. Well, you went from not being on the show to making money now.
I don't make money. I'll somehow
you'll give it away.
Yeah,
I swear this man could win the $1.8 billion lottery, give most of it away, party the rest of it, and then this time next year would be like, hey, anybody getting a lottery ticket?
Yeah. I'm so bad with money. Well, I do like, Evan gave me shit about that. Was like, you don't have money and you keep doing charity shows. Like, just stop.
Be the charity, man. It's not wrong. It's not bad to be the charity from time to time.
Yeah,
like charity shows where the money goes to charity.
Yeah, like most of the money, like I'll pay the comics and then I'll send the rest to charity, and then I make $0
instead of taking a.
Oh, you put them
cut.
on.
Yeah.
I'll put them, like I'll host or produce a lot of them, and then. But you know what? I won't change. I won't change.
We know you won't.
I'm just like,
it's fine.
That's really that's noble. It has to be noble because you said you had a girlfriend too. So I'm like, he's not doing it for pussy. What's he doing it for? I guess you just got a good heart, bro.
He's like an evil genius in the worst way, you know? Like he's trying to not take over the world, but like save the world.
Save the world. Save the world one bar show at a time.
This guy. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway,
so back to Star Bar.
You're doing the improv at roll call. Are you just realizing that it's just taken away from stand up too much? Is that why you made the jump back?
Well, then I think I started doing. So I didn't do stand up. I did the mic. I did the mic like 3 or 4 times, one mic a week, like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. And then one night it like didn't go well or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just like stopped. It was, I was making myself go to the mic. Like it was the feeling of like having to get out of bed in the morning. Like it really made me nervous and like, okay, let's go. Like I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after 3 or 4 times, I was just like, man, I don't know. Maybe this isn't for me. Like maybe I'm not going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm doing improv. I'm having a great time. And I mean, this is gonna sound very free lovey, very like, ooh, yeah. But like, I started getting this. I actually only shared this with maybe a couple people because then they'll know I'm actually
exclusive.
I stopped doing mics. I stopped doing that mic completely, and then I started getting like this knee pain I've had in the past. This pain in my knee, and I called my brother because my brother's the life coach, and I know how this all sounds. Okay,
Keep going.
We're with you. I'm a
did...
house fan, so I'm following right along with you. Like,
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And I did this exercise my life coach brother walked me through, where I would like basically like trying to figure out what the pain was coming from, what feeling the pain was overshadowing or whatever. And I was crazy. I was like walking around my house, like saying stuff and writing things down. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, oh man, it's fear. I'm afraid. Like I gotta do stand up again. And then I went to the mic again,
wow.
and my knee pain went away. And then I just started fucking. And then the more I started doing it, then I just like, completely fell in love with it. And then it was just like, oh, well, I want to do this all the time. Like, I don't want to be on an improv team. Like,
well, now
I just
you
want
got
to do
that.
this.
Now you got that nice balance of wanting to do stand up and actually needing to do stand up.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I love this. It's like you went into the sweat lodge and had a vision and came out, and you were like, stand up.
Well, it's just crazy what the brain does, Like the brain was pushing that fear into like knee pain of all things. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, really denying myself something I really wanted to do and could do. Yeah. So it's pretty powerful.
So how was it jumping into it? Like, would you just start going to any and all mics? You ease back into it? Like, how was those first few months?
I think so. The point that I like mark is like really doing all the mics was like the first time I did a mic outside of roll call. I think it was like Limerick Junction Pub.
I love Limerick.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten to do that show. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I host Lightning Round now, so come on by for a fun little 2-minute. But yeah, Joe Smith hosts the main show. I love him so much. And Limerick's great. I love that place. And then after I did that mic, I had made a friend in comedy who like told me like, okay, here's the mics
that
to go to.
That is so huge. Is connecting with someone and because it's almost a team sport at that point. Where you're like, please talk me into this mic. I don't want to go to this mic.
Yeah. Very, very grateful. Or someone even being like, yeah, it's a real mic, come. Because you see it like on a calendar, but in my brain, I can't even begin to visualize what it's going to look like because I haven't done the fucking mics.
Right. Get there. Isn't it funny when venues and mics look completely different than what you imagined them? And you're you're just like, oh, okay, this is doable.
Yeah, this is nice. I just imagine everything in like a dark shoebox for like a dead crow in the audience. I'm like, picture the worst.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you.
So after that night, I just started fucking going and started making friends and just really got bit by it and really just like in the like every night, except maybe like Sundays.
You gotta rest.
You gotta take a rest. God's day. Yeah, and then started like booked my first show and then like booked my second show and then just like kind of the snowball of getting to do it more.
Do you remember that first time you were like what the show was? Like your first like show where you're like, I'm on a show.
I think my first real book show was actually Limerick Junction Pub, the main show for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean that's awesome. You went to the mic, you established yourself, you got put on the show.
Yeah, and Joe Smith. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, you go.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that's always something fun to see is like when you like a new comic, they're hitting the mics and then you start seeing them on a flyer and you're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I was so fucking nervous for it. I remember I felt like I was gonna vomit. It felt like my biggest thing ever. I was like, this is it, baby.
So who's your
Limerick Junction?
Who's your squad?
Next late night.
Who's your
squad now?
Who's your Atlanta team?
I've Gabe Haynes, great friend of mine. I host the 1 a.m. with Daniel Delano and Eric Tillman. They're hilarious and amazing. Zachary Wright, super funny comic. Shelley Grunberg. She just moved here from Boston. I have a podcast with Katie Hughes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Katie's hilarious.
Carolina girl.
Yeah, she's fucking, yeah, she's amazing. I don't know if she's my squad, but she's definitely someone like, I have a podcast with Katie Hughes, so pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Katie's one of those when I watch Katie, I'm like, I'm quitting. Like she's so
just
funny.
So effortless too. So
like she's just kind of like, oh, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I can't do that. I'm done.
Her brother's hilarious too.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, love Cody. Big Cody Hughes fan. Yeah, the
I was just in
are
Asheville last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Did the beauty parlor or beauty academy?
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Model Face Melissa Hahn. Setting that show up. Matt White and friends. Shout out to Matt White for bringing me along as a friend.
As a pal, first and foremost.
Yeah, look at that.
Friends.
Yeah, but no, Asheville was great. That 4-hour drive back was brutal, but other than that.
You did it last night?
Yeah, why not?
Doesn't it make you feel psycho to drive? Like, anytime I've had to drive to Savannah and then you get there, like, it's like a 3 or 4 hour drive. You get there right as the show's starting and then you get back in the car afterwards to drive back. I feel like an insane person when I get home.
Yeah.
But I always appreciate it so much when I wake up in my bed the next day. I'm always like, I'm so glad I did this. Like it sucked last night at 1:30 when I pulled in my parking lot, but it's so nice now.
God, such a good point though.
Yeah. So how did the 1 a.m. Secret Show come about? Because I think when I came through Atlanta, was it David Perdue and Olivia were running it?
It was, maybe they were running it at one point. When I started doing comedy, it was David Perdue, Anthony Driver, and Mandel, aka Mandel.
Love Mandel.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking beast. He's so funny
and just a nice person. So
nice, the nicest. He was very. I had a lot of people when I was starting out who were just very like he was one of them, very kind and very supportive to me, which is like very invaluable.
That's why I don't get it, man. Like when there's funny new people, like build them up. Like that's the future of the scene. Like, don't you want new people to put on shows that you're producing? You know, like like a new person I can add into the rotation. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny to watch. Like, and I know that I can struggle with this where I'm like I have to like get my head around it being like, no, everyone can do comedy if they want to do comedy, but then the competitive side of me is like, one more person trying to do, but like, but it is this kind of fun thing when you see someone that's like, they're young, they're hungry, they're fairly talented, you know, like you're like, oh, they'll be good at some point. Like it's so much better to just be like, all right, let's help them out. Let's give them a little like, here's what I would do if I could go back and try this again. You know, little things like that. And it's so much better than just like, I'm just gonna ignore them for 6 months.
Yeah. I can't imagine what I would have done without that. Like Lauren Knight, I don't know if you know her. She's an Atlanta comic. She
hosted the last time me and Will were at Laughing Skull.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She was someone that was like right away, like just like literally very much took me under her wing. And that's something I'm very, very grateful for.
Very funny. I think we got to go down when she was doing her residency. And she was just
right. She killed.
She's a
and
killer.
Then the whole T.I. nonsense. at least it put her name out there, you know. So
very cool.
Because no one watched that and were like Team T.I. You know, they're like, who's this girl? I want to support her.
I remember just seeing like posts about it, and I was like, "What is happening?" Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. I was at our bar. I went there every single Monday, and the first Monday, I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I'm not gonna go tonight. That fucking happened. I was like, oh my god, insane.
Wow, how was it? I mean, if we can just do a little side note real quick, as an Atlanta comic, how was T.I. kind of coming around?
Okay, T.I.
He's our next guest, so just he's actually here. Let me go get him.
I would like to imagine that after that thing with Lauren, T.I., I mean, from an outsider's view, because he came to our bar after that whole thing and kind of had like his little redemption arc and like kind of sat there while we all went on stage and kind of made fun of him, and he was a good sport about it. So I'd like to think that he had an arc after that. But like the first time I saw T.I. was at the 1 a.m. Secret Show, And my friend texted me, I'm going on after T.I. And I was like, LOL, okay. And he's like, no, I'm fucking serious. And then T.I. went on stage and like, I mean, you got bombed for like, he running the light, bombed for like 15, 20 minutes. Amazing. But like, of course he's bombing. At that point, he'd probably been doing comedy like what, 2 weeks? Like,
right.
Yeah.
He's just getting thoughts out right now.
Yeah.
And why did he start stand? Because he's got like a decent acting
I talked
career.
to I heard an Atlanta comic that I respect, and he said that T.I. said he was around T.I. when T.I. was like, I've been an angry rapper for 20 years, man. Let me tell my jokes.
Yeah, sure.
So after that, I was like, okay. All right.
Jeremy Piven got canceled and then started doing stand-up. It's not like T.I. was canceled. It's not like it's like, yeah, he's been to prison a couple times, but like
he's got a very flourishing rap career. Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, he's like fine. Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool when he'd show up because it would just be, and I've heard now, like I heard the other day, like he did a set at Uptown and it was like positively, you know, I'm sure he's gotten like better and like it seemed, but it was like very fun for him to just to pop in like, holy fuck, T.I.'s here doing the set. But when he would run the light and stuff, it was like, and that whole thing with Lauren was just like so fucked. Like, I just remember there's a point where she's on stage and she's going in the video and she's in the mic and she's going like, this is hard. Like, this is hard what we do. And he's just sitting in the back nodding his head no. Like, it's not hard.
That's when I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
Wow.
And then that week he went and performed in New York and that video of him bombing his ass off in front of like that stadium. But it's like, of course you shouldn't be at a state. So like that's annoying, but like also it's like, well, T.I. is here and that is crazy. So
right.
Yeah.
It's that, you know,
that'd be like,
I feel like he's like probably walking on a stage. Himself.
Yeah, and that's cool to hear that. Like, it's cool to hear that he had like his little arc because that wasn't talked about at all.
Well, I kind of figured because, you know, the media wants the negative and then we didn't hear about the negative anymore. So I figured he either stopped doing it, which I doubted, or he learned a little bit more of the etiquette.
Yeah,
I think he learned, because I haven't heard anything bad about him since he came to our bar. He got the light. He went off the stage. Like, I think that was probably
he respected it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good. Like a learning moment.
The rules, like as weird as it sounds, you know, the etiquette and the rules of comedy go a long way. Like, yes, some of them are stupid. I will wear shorts on stage at open mic. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take my shorts away from me.
I was going to tell her about our problem. Our problem here is we can't get Blake Shelton to stop doing.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. I'm completely kidding. I was trying to imagine.
I'm waiting for Kid Rock to show up at something, to be honest with you.
Oh, that actually wouldn't surprise me. Like, it shows up at Twin Kegs. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I feel like Blake Shelton or Kid Rock is the T.I. of Nashville.
For sure. Yeah. They're battling to see. And Jason, you can throw Jason Aldean in there too.
Jason's in
fucking there. Throw him in.
It's whoever's got the biggest honky tonk downtown.
I would go ape shit though if Dolly Parton showed up and was like, I only got a few years left.
That's the one celebrity where I'd be like, you know what? I forfeit everyone's time here. You get on stage and you talk till you don't want to talk anymore.
You talk till you go hoarse, baby girl.
Mm-hmm. I don't even care if it's funny. Just tell me stories. I just want your story.
I would, whatever Mike's, let's say she shows up at, I don't know, Lakeside Lounge, and if you know she wouldn't do it, but imagine if MK went to light Dolly Parton.
We all just tackle her. Let her go.
Take MK's phone, throw it across the room.
She is an idol.
Out of your mind.
Well, you said like Dolly Parton just tells stories. That was the thing when I would watch T.I. is I wanted him to talk about being T.I. Like I was like, I'd watch him and I'm like, you're not relatable to me. Like, you're not relatable. So I want to hear you talk about your insane, you know, the life you have. But he would be on stage at Star Bar and be like, you know, I remember a joke he did that was like, you know, if my woman like gains weight, I'll stay with her. If my woman does this, I'll stay with her. But if my woman like farts when we're in bed together, and then he did like, no. And then And then he did a joke about like Ukraine after, and I was like, talk about being rich. Talk about your boat. I want to know about your boats, you know?
I want to hear you talking about smoking weed with Snoop Dogg. I'm not here for
Yeah,
this.
like I watch so much reality TV, like that is what, and you know, maybe, and he has every right, I guess, as anyone else to talk about like whatever, you know, talk about
Yeah.
the things he wants to. But as someone who's like watching, I was like, dude, I want to hear about the crazy shit. Like, if Aziz Ansari gets to go on stage and talk about being friends with Kanye West, then shouldn't you?
Right.
You should do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You should be able to do that too.
I want some insider baseball. I want to hear the I want to hear the celeb story. That's the whole reason I weirdly got to open for Jeremy Piven, and
Oh right, I forgot you did. Yeah.
he did stories, and I'll give it to him. People came to hear his stories. I think if he would have tried to do jokes, people would have been like, more stories.
Yeah, just like reading an AMA on Reddit. Like that's kind of what I want.
Yeah. I want to hear about the hangs.
I just want to hear. I am interested to hear T.I.'s hot take on Ukraine, though. That I would stick around for that. I'd be like, you know what? Let's.
How was those first like 1 a.m. secret shows, like taking over, like hosting those?
Oh yeah. So basically what ended up happening was that those three people, they've just been doing it for like a long time, and they were just done. You know, they've done it for a long time. They're done it. You know, Mandel was like, I don't want to be up at, you know, until 3 a.m. every week anymore.
Yeah.
All of them were like that, which like for sure. So they each picked someone to pass it on to. I was Mandel's pick, which is very, very cool. And then Eric Tillman, Daniel Delano, who are amazing. Those, it was, you know, big shoes to fill. It felt like the show definitely has like a very, you know, big, hefty name.
Prestigious, yeah. You know, people hear about it before they even do comedy in Atlanta.
Yeah. Also, just it's so insane because I remember like my first time doing the show, like just so nervous, so like not feeling cut, like so nervous in the green room, you know, like all these other comics who are like so, you know, that I really respect. And then now so crazy to be hosting the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very insane full circle moments. But the first ones, I mean, I'm the only one that gets stressed out at that show every week. Like, because what happens every week, no one comes into the door until 1 a.m. It'll be fucking empty. And then at 1 a.m., it'll be completely full.
Oh, I ran a show like that in Wilmington that it started at 8. No one showed up till 8. And you're like,
it feels, because I feel like at any comedy show, and you know, like as a comedian, as a booker or whatever, you're like, if you're at a show and no one shows up, you're not like, fuck this booker, unless they really dropped the ball and did nothing. You're like, I've done a ton of comedy shows where no one's there.
Right.
But something about it being at 1 a.m. and like making people stay up till 1 a.m., like it feels like I really need to let go of it.
That's still pressure. But, like, I'm awake right now.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one. Eric and Daniel, they don't stress out one bit. And I'm around like pacing, looking in the room. I'm like, oh God, guys, this is it. I'm barking so much. And they're always just like, hey, it's fine. It's going to be fine.
It works out. So it always works out. Yeah.
Every single week they come in and I'm like, can you believe I was stressed? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, we can. We see it every week.
Yeah, we can. You do this every single week.
Now, is there foot traffic there? Like, is it in a part of town that like people walk up to it, or like these people come because they know about the show?
So the bar is like always full of people. So there'll be people there at the bar waiting to get into the show who like know about the show. And then I'll bark in, like, it's a lot of like frat sorority people, a lot of like young. So I'll go, I'll typically, I do most of the barking because I'm the woman of the group and I've had the best numbers in the barking.
Get results.
So I'll typically go up to groups where there's a couple women and like I can tell like the woman's making the moves in the group tonight and I'll come talk to them and get people in that way.
I just see you walking up to a group like, all right, who's the decision maker around here?
Yeah. Leader. I want to talk to your leader.
Yeah. That's all. Well, I mean, just kudos to the Atlanta scene for like, because y'all have such staples of shows, you know, like people strive to have their name written on that Star Bar board. People strive to do the 1 a.m. show. People strive to do the open mic at Laughing Skull. Like, and y'all have had the support because it does, like, all of this would have been a flash in the pan, I feel like, if your heavy hitters that had some national success just said screw it. But no, they stay, like, even when they're on the road and they've gone to Atlanta and moved to other places, you still see Clayton English at the 1 a.m. show. You still see Dolce shouting out a show in Atlanta. You still see Caleb Simon talking about it. You still see Rob Hayes jumping on something. You know, like, you still have your people that are Atlanta made still like making sure the scene's good, and that's unheard of.
It's amazing.
Or just like Roland wearing a Braves hat.
Yeah,
like it's like as simple as that, you know. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's very special.
Yeah. So how was that, like, just going to a show and just being like, I mean, Rob Hayes and Clayton English might just pop up.
I mean, it's like now, like, Clayton comes to the 1 a.m. like pretty much. He closes out the 1 a.m. like pretty much every week.
Yeah.
Also, nicest person in the world.
Yeah.
Like, God, that guy, he's so fucking funny. It's fucking cool. I mean, Tiffany Haddish came to Limerick Junction Pub the other week and signed up on the list. Isn't that crazy? She put her name on the list and was like, 2 minutes, and I was like, no.
However many you want.
If I lit you at 1 minute, I'd probably like get fucking tackled.
Just walk into traffic.
But you almost like kind of want to be like, you almost sort of want to do it. Just be like, I lit Tiffany Haddish.
I lit Tiffany at 1.
So that's where your brain goes, Will. There's like authority.
But I feel, you know, it feels very lucky and cool to get to watch people like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, to get to watch such heavy hitters and like be on, you know, the same shows as them sometimes is like, I think it's amazing. It helps you get better to watch people who are so fucking good.
That's the part of the formula that people forget about a lot, is like, not only do you have to get up a lot early, but you got to watch headliners early.
Yeah.
That's something I do miss about New York, is who you just like rub shoulders with all the time, because it made you a better comic. Like, you would watch, like, I remember, like, I don't know what happened, but like I was on a show with Casey James Salengo for like we had like 7 shows together in like a month or something. And I remember just like watching him, and I really think he's so funny. And I remember just watching him and being like, all right, I have to follow him. Like, I had to follow him a couple of times and was like, how do I do that? What do I do? You know, like where do I place my jokes? Like, 'cause I knew I could do it, but I just had to like convince myself to go do it. And I do kind of miss that, because I don't feel like I have that here. Yeah.
I had to follow Sean Patton at the Lookout Comedy Festival in Chattanooga, and I felt like it was one of the biggest moments of like, okay, let's like, how are you, like, how? And he, of course, he fucking murdered.
Like, he's so
gotta
funny.
Love Sean.
So funny, yeah.
So having him, I was like, okay, this is fucking buck up, bitch, and do it. And it was good, but it was like a big. These moments are crazy, but I feel like they're so important and helpful and like informative.
Yeah. How was the Lookout Festival? Like our buddy Donnie Marsh put it together with the crew.
It was amazing. Awesome. I recommend to any comic, recommend the Lookout Festival so much. It was like awesome. Every show was great.
That's like fantastic.
I did like 7 or 8 shows when I was there, and every single one had like a full audience. Which
also,
I was like
7 or 8 shows for a festival is top notch. That's
and for Chattanooga. I mean, that's really impressive. That's a very small city. Yeah,
it was fucking it was amazing.
Look at Donnie and his team. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, Donnie fucking killed it.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, Chat. I honestly I think I've maybe done 7 shows total in Chattanooga, but I don't think I've ever had a bad show in Chattanooga.
I guess.
Yeah.
They're great. They love comedy.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
It's a great town.
Yeah. So what does the end of 2022 and 2023 look like for you? What's the future and the
What's
present?
on the docket?
Yeah, what's on
the docket? Well, this weekend I'm on a Red Clay Comedy Festival in Atlanta.
Oh, congrats. Awesome.
Thank you. Very excited about that. So that's this weekend. I'm coming to Nashville. Oh, I guess that's I'm coming to Nashville in January. So that, and then I'm trying to think if I got anything else going on. Just Yeah, I don't think I'm going to California for Thanksgiving.
Now, are you setting up going back to California to do some comedy now? Now that you got your Atlanta legs under you, you know?
I actually haven't done comedy in California yet. Yeah, I'd like to. I'm not going to because I'm home for Thanksgiving because I can
Yeah,
just tell with my parents really want me just to be there, but
yeah,
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go back
yeah.
out.
yeah. That's awesome.
Especially because they're not in LA, so I'd really be like, all right, bye, like leaving at 4 p.m. to go do a show.
Right.
Let me go sit in traffic for forever.
It's
I'm
good
like,
seeing
bye,
you,
thanks for the
but I
plane
won't see
ticket.
you.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
You can just call them from the car, and that way you're still hanging out, but you're like on the way to a show. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, guys. Don't
yeah,
support me. You have to support my dreams.
My parents, like, so I'm going home for Thanksgiving as well, but I always set up shows in my hometown because they pay well and it's just one of those fun things. Like, and we started doing a show at a brewery the night before Thanksgiving because it's like historically one of the biggest drinking nights of the year. And so we were like,
Oh,
why not just throw a show together? And my parents this year, they were like, hey, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to the beach with your grandparents. And I was like, well, but I got the show. And they're like, all right, yeah, we'll get there if you can get there. They were just so over it. They were like, you know what? Like, I
you're
don't like.
done,
I
man.
might like. I and I'm gonna end up at the beach. Like, we figured it out, and like I have to borrow my brother's car and do all this stuff. But yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, yep, this is probably how Thanksgiving's gonna be for the rest of my life. It's just kind of like, if you're
You're
there, you're
grown, bro.
there.
You're
But if
grown
they don't
now.
not,
even need
yeah,
you. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
want every time I post like a comedy show poster on my Facebook or whatever, I always get like 20 comments from my teachers from high school, all in California, that are always like, "We want to come to a show. Let us know when there's a show." So the next time I come back, I want to put on a show and just have
yeah.
the audience be all of my overly supportive teachers from
Teachers,
high school.
that's so
That's a
funny.
genius idea for like some content. You know, like filming
Yeah,
that and putting that out there. That's genius.
I think
comedy
it'll
for
be
teachers.
insane.
Yeah.
But
Comedy for my teacher.
that's great. I mean, that's a great because I mean, how many of our teachers are like,
Oh yeah.
this kid's
Because
driving me crazy.
it's like teachers and nurses party harder than anyone you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. My friend, she's a comic, her Kylie Vincent. She has a joke about how she's like, "Did you know that teachers also do spring break?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
right,
Hard.
right.
do." And yeah, they're due to it. I would have to. I would joke about one of my teachers from high school, but I say his real name because, like,
Why not?
why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
But I should
yeah.
probably start changing it if I'm gonna perform in front of all of them.
Well,
My
also, I mean,
like
they're hurting for teachers so much. They're not, they're like, we're not going to fire you for anything. That's
Yeah.
fine.
a joke that someone else made. Yeah, I take my anyone who was my least favorite person growing up. I use their name to like describe like a cop. Like,
So none of those
like,
people are cops.
no, Alshire is not a cop. He's just a piece of shit from Hagerstown, and I don't. You can keep that part.
That's so funny.
His whole family sucks. His brother sucks. He sucks. They all suck.
What's the family in the Adam Sandler movie? O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, was it the O'Doyles?
Yeah,
No.
Oh yeah,
O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Murdaws.
I thought
Yes.
weird random side note, but I thought O'Doul's like I thought that was a play. I thought it was O'Doyle, and I thought it was a play off of that. I had a weird 20s starting drinking. I thought O'Doul's was tied to Billy Madison somehow. I don't know.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Drew. We're all
Yeah,
better
man.
from that one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
It's funny, like the need to change names. Like Katie Hughes in her album, she uses so many names, and I asked, they're all the real names of people, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, they're not listening."
Yeah,
But
and I
Yeah.
don't have a good enough memory to remember the fake name I came up with.
me too.
So
I'll
I'm
change
like,
it. It'll be 7 different names in the whole story. It'll start out as Jack and then turn to like so Steven was saying it. It'll get too confused. Just use their real name and social security number like intended.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. See, I got in a ton of trouble, honestly, my second time ever doing stand-up because I put it on, it was like I was in college, put it on YouTube, and I happened to mention my prom date's name. I didn't say her last name, I just said her name. And the way the joke played out, it was like not great. And because like YouTube was like new, people did watch it. So like everyone was like, "Did you hear Will's trying stand up out?" So I'm getting phone calls from my dad being like, "Hey, we're about to lose clients because of that joke." And I was like, "Jesus Christ!" I was like,
What
"Well,
was
maybe
the
if she was a."
joke?
It was just the joke's actually
Let's get
fine.
Will canceled all over again.
I mean, she's fun. She went on the, she's like
You're gonna be like, she's dead. It doesn't matter.
the problem wasn't her. Her now husband, who at the time was her boyfriend, his dad was like a client of my dad's, and he's kind of a fucking loser. So,
too much
when you have a
removed.
guy doing stand up and but anyway, the joke was this actually happened. Like we were going to prom, and the only reason she went to prom with me is because no one else would ask her, because just some things that I actually do have friends I have some friends that listen to podcasts, and I don't want to divulge their personal life. But she wasn't the most liked person in our school at the time. However,
sure.
she was insanely attractive, and I was like, all right, if I just go to prom with her, my kids were going to think one day that I was cool in high school.
So went to picture framed all around the house. Is that what the plan is?
And I looked mint, but I was looking pretty good. I had a white suit. I was looking good.
Like, but I was a hot high schooler.
I was pretty hot. I was a pretty hot 17-year-old. But anyway, so she had this like bright orange dress, and it pushed her boobs up really high, and we were walking out of dinner, and I turned to her and I was like, "Hey, if we lost you, we could find you because your dress is so bright." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "If like the lights went out, we'd find you because your dress is so bright."
What possessed you to say this?
I'm 18. And then she was like, she was like, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Oh, your breasts. I mean, and I was trying to say bright dress, but I kept saying breasts over and over and over again. I was going, your breasts, your breasts, your breasts. And I said it like 6 or 7 times. I just kept saying it. And she was like, "My dress?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like we didn't talk to her. Like I didn't talk to her for like the rest of the night. But she actually spent prom dancing with her now husband, so it kind of worked out for her. But what got me in trouble is I was talking about the party afterwards where she went and hooked up with one of my friends. And so that got me in a lot of trouble because it was like you said a name, and that was it. That was really it. And now I'm saying it again.
What are they gonna do? What's your dad gonna lose clients over this again?
I was about to say, do you still have this client?
That's crazy.
I would laugh to find out like that's like one of our listeners is just like her husband's been waiting for me to tell this story for a decade. Just like he's gonna tell it again, and I'm gonna kick the
I've
shit
listened
out of
to 30-something episodes for this moment.
Your prom night sounds exactly like a Curb Your Enthusiasm spec script.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
You should write that. We need a new prom night comedy.
Yeah,
a new prom comedy. Yeah, written by a 33-year-old man.
That
I do prom comedy.
Blockers was pretty funny. If y'all hadn't seen that, it's pretty funny. With John Cena and it's Judd Apatow and his wife stars in it. I never can remember her name. I always hate.
No one can. Leslie Mann. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I always say Judd Apatow's wife, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I know
she's
funny,
really nice. Yeah, I worked with her at the American Comedy Awards back when I used to work in production, and she got on stage and she was like,
"It just seems super cool, you know."
Yeah,
like you can see certain celebrities where you're like, "I bet you suck," but then there's some celebrities that are like, "I bet you're pretty down there."
Yeah, she was fun. Like and it's a made up award show, like it's not real. And she like. And she got up and she was like, "All right, best comedy director." And obviously Judd Apatow was up for that. And she was like, "I swear to God, if my husband doesn't win this, I'm not sleeping with him for a year." and then she's like, "Please God, win this thing." And then she like, because we all knew who won. So she, she knew it. But yeah, she was funny.
Good. Well, cool. Well, where can they find you? You're online, and since that's a huge thing these days, you gotta be online.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be online. You can find me on Instagram. My name is Tamar Rubin 69. I said that on stage. A host said my Instagram, and then he was like, "That's so fun, like getting to keep those names you made when you were like 13." And I was like, "Yo, I feel I made that when I was 24."
That is fairly new. Thank you very much.
Oh, bro. And And then also I have a podcast with Katie Hughes. It's called The Friggin' Show. We're on Instagram. We're on Spotify, podcasts, all that stuff. So if you want to listen to that too.
For sure.
And then the 1 a.m. Then the 1 a.m. Secret Show, that's on Instagram too.
I gotta come make an Atlanta trip. I definitely it's been on the checklist for a while. So definitely gotta come see you.
Yeah.
Both of you please come through.
Yeah.
Keep Star Bar open for the next time I come in town.
For sure. Yeah, we could totally make that happen.
It's on Facebook immediately.
How is the fight? It's so weird to be tied to an establishment that I've never been to. But it's like the heart of it's like a comedy institution that you just don't want to see die.
Yeah, for apartments.
We got to overpriced apartments probably too.
Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, so we don't know yet. We're just, but people have been pulling up. Star Bar's been really good this past month.
Awesome. That's good.
Shows have been very good.
Good. Well, Tamar, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I hope to see you on the funny streets of Atlanta here soon. Let us know when you come to Nashville. And check out her podcast. Check out her at all the shows she's at, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out all the great content on Project Nerd. We appreciate them letting us be part of their podcast family, and we'll see you next time.
My funny friend.